was always a for sure initiation that the team followed up on. He had quite a big impact for them in that mid to late game. We'll see if he can do the same.
Oh, you're speaking of the cannon, instantly back.
It goes.
Bear in mind that this was a flex pick as well for the Gigabyte Marines. They put it down in the bottom lane. They made the slicing crescendo. They were the team that to innovate that. So that will be banned away from them today. Meanwhile, the Gallia respect ban away from Droll. He did bring that out in day 1 of Group B's play.
The Gragas as well. It's there. Stark won't be able to play either of his champions now. What is the final ban here from Gigabyte Marines? What do they feel like? There's that. You don't have to do Echo yet, obviously.
Ivan, perhaps. I feel
mid
that
lane bans if they want later. Seiya's been
Caitlyn
good
as well.
Caitlyn, yeah, you can hit White Lotus up, but it is going to be Giral's top lane shit.
Now I wonder whether or not you go for the Ivan first pick. We know that Oddie can play it, or whether or not they go for the immediate AD carry lock-in. We know how powerful the champion is, but even more so on White Lotus. He has been freely allowed to play this champion time and time again. It's demonstrated that it's certainly a comfort pick. For
as long as he doesn't have his support AD carry game, he's good to go. Is that 0-0-6? And mentioning that game, it was played on Ashe, now being hovered by the Gigabyte Marines. Always favored for that kind of unconditional initiation. You just have to hit it. So there's a bit of
just gotta hit it.
There's a bit of conditional there.
But for the Gigabyte Marines, if they do lock in that Ashe, that should be the first time that they bring it out. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw a bit more of an early prioritization on supports. Now that's cheating because it's already been locked in. But the junglers, Lee Sin for Levi. I'm going to call it now. You had that great Dragon Steal in the front page of Reddit. Super smooth, very clean play, very strong individual. Boom, got it in before he looked.
He hasn't picked it.
Ah, damn, you baited me, Riv.
It's all right. I trust it. The crystal ball looks shiny. Oh, yeah, he's got Don't worry. He knows what you're thinking. So it is going to be the Karma Lee, a bit of in and out. Pretty scrappy team in the 2 members so far from Gigabyte Marines.
It's got to be Ivan now, surely. Like, you've got to protect the AD carry conversation in the making.
Okay. So now they, I mean, the Lulu's out. You could still have the Orianna on Seiya's side,
Nami,
but Syndra's up, so you want to make sure ban phase 2 goes through.
I feel like Nami would be a pretty good support pick on the side of Caitlyn.
Don't show too much.
Also plays very nicely into the lane. It gives you a lot of trading power. Does well into a lot of the poke and harass that often comes out from Karma. And now if you have the Gigabyte Marines round things out with us with an AD carry, you don't want to get that raw pinch. You have the Varus and the Ashe available to you. Varus, I feel, is slightly stronger trading AD carry if you want to try and match the pressure. Also has slightly better wave clear to match that of the Caitlyn. So personally, I'm a bit of a more of a fan towards that champion. However, the Ashe would give you a slightly stronger engage tool.
I do like the Ashe here because obviously you can stay safe on the tidal wave, but against an Ivern, I've realized and noticed that you actually sometimes hit the people you don't want. After Root Caller's on you, somebody's going to be in your face, and usually it's that Ivern taking the arrow. It just becomes a little bit more tricky. Obviously, it doesn't make or break the champion, but it is not fun to see 4 people flying at you when you want to prioritize one target. That is the Ashe locked in, though. They keep safety in the bottom lane, and they'll be able to stay away from all this sustain that will try to poke through from White Lotus and Genthix. Ban phase 2 shows more towards the top lane here from Gigabyte Marines.
Yep. Remember that LyonGaming were the team that were initially focusing a lot of the top lane bans, but now Gigabyte Marines have that freedom, right? Like, let's continue banning out the tanks so that we can pick ourselves either the last tank, or we can get ourselves a little bit more of a comfort pick, so you're forced onto something a little bit more unconventional in the top half of the map. And Droll really has been one of the weakest performers on the side of LyonGaming. His ability to join fights has been very lackluster, often TPing either very late or in very odd positions. And overall, like, as an individual in terms of the lineup, he's already been the weak link that I think Gigabyte Marines could look to take advantage of, especially with the strong top half of the map for the Gigabyte Marines.
Vlad, all right. Doesn't want to deal with that. Obviously getting a nice little pocket pick out of the way. And with the LeBlanc out, we may just see the Syndra as well, so nobody gets an upper hand on that pick. There's 13 seconds left for LyonGaming.
Final ban here for Lyon. I wonder what they could look to ban away. Like, Syndra and Ori are also both available. But I suppose if you leave one up, you can just pick yourself the other.
Or the Ori. Both of us are wrong. We have actually seen the Ahri be played quite a bit. So this leaves a lot of Seiya's champion pool there with the Ryze, the Echo, the Ori, the Syndra. But same for Optimus here. Optimus, a very big Ahri player in his first day of play, day 2. All right, the Fizz gets locked in. So we see Stark again on a damage dealer, fight starter type of champion.
Now, yesterday, we actually saw from... Oh, I forget. We saw it from Evie, who actually was the individual to bring it out. The Tom Kench top into the Fizz.
Ah, okay, yes.
And there have been a lot of discussions within the office about the matchup, but I think it would fit nicely in terms of the protect the AD carry. You have a tanky top laner, and I think it actually does pretty well into the Fizz matchup too. But instead, Lyon are actually opting to go for a tank into the Fizz. And I think this is a very risky move.
It's a forest-friendly team.
It certainly is. You have the water to keep them hydrated. Now they need the Leo in the mid lane, and you've got the full package, right?
This is fantastic. The Maokai and the Ivern are going to be working together here to root this game into place. Another pick in the Syndra. That's usually the last pick you see, but not for blue side. They lock it in, and now we're going to have to see what the answer is here from the side of GIGABYTEmarines.
I'm expecting an Echo to come out in the middle lane. Alternatively, you could flex the Fizz, and you could throw the Fizz in mid. I've always considered Fizz a pretty good champion into Syndra too. And then you could pick something like a Rumble up top into the Maokai if you wanted to.
Oh, you could? Nicely done. So it looks like that is what's going to happen. So now Maokai versus Rumble. Not the greatest fun in the world, honestly. You do get cooked up, but once Maokai gets a bit of HP, level 5, level 6, you can withstand the lane and kind of just queue the farm away.
An element of irony in the sense that we see a forest competition and a wood burner gets picked up on the side of the GIGABYTEmarines. But let's look at the compositions overall. You've got a great 1-3-1 being set up from the side of the GIGABYTEmarines. Good initiation tools in the form of the Ashe. You have the flank engage from the side of the Lee Sin. You also have the Rumble ultimate, which is actually fantastic, not only setting up sieges, but also forcing your opponents into a situation where you can start the fights. Meanwhile, LyonGaming, they're all about that team fighting. We've seen so much of the protect the AD carry. We talked a lot about how White Lotus as an individual is probably one of the best AD carries you can look to play this protect the AD carry style around. And now that he's got this perfect composition with the Maokai, with the Ivern, with the Nami as well, you've got a prime position towards this mid to late game where you do want to set up either these sieges or you want to be forcing these 5v5 fights.
I love as well that he focuses kind of these range champions like a Caitlyn or an Ashe to volley in, kind of poke in, but is that guy that will flash as soon as he sees an opportunity to get a kill forward to get it, be aggressive. And we're about to get on the riff for game 2 here of day 4, a 2-1 LyonGaming versus the undefeated Group B GIGABYTEmarines. We have yet to have a team come out of the play-ins undefeated, as Rampage was able to take down Supermassive earlier today. Can GIGABYTEmarines keep the wins coming and keep the confidence high? We're about to be on the rift, and we're about to see the MSI play-ins. These games always definitely get the crowd on their feet. Expect to hear the cheers. And we'll have to see what happens. Ivern on your screen now. See Maokai up top. Do you think they're friends or enemies?
Who, the Maokai and Ivern?
Yeah, because Maokai is all angry that he was taken out of the forest. Ivern's like, I'd like to be anywhere.
He's just here to help the creatures of the forest, right? So he's
true.
He's like the therapist for Maokai. He's very much the guy that says, you know what, Maokai?
Radical.
It's fine, right? Like, here, have this funny cat costume. This will make you feel better about yourself, right?
That's right. Things are down. You feel bad about where you are.
Just put the onesie, right?
Get
like,
the onesie
that's
out.
what I like to do.
Well, we know Jiral's feeling good then. Stark, we did say the Fizz might have been his, but then the Rumble. So that Gragas, the Kennen, the Rumble play, and some others continue him on a track to be aggression and DPS for the team.
And I'm really excited to see this Fizz into Syndra. We don't really get this matchup in Europe. A lot of the European mid laners are not a fan of Fizz mid in particular because they think that his laning phase is too easy to abuse, especially into a champion like Syndra. So normally he makes his way up top. But what I love is the fact that once you hit level 6 on the Fizz, you have so much kill pressure. It is impossible for the Syndra, especially in the late game, to move off onto a side lane to be able to deal with him. So you've got this late game guaranteed win condition for the GIGABYTEmarines where you have the 1-3-1 from the Fizz. And that's what I'm really excited to see. But the pressure is on as well for Lyon. They have to take advantage of getting an early game lead with the Syndra. They cannot allow her to fall behind, because if she does, it becomes nearly impossible to come back into this matchup.
Actually looks like he has done the 2 push as well. Or sorry, W, 4-2. Keep himself safe here just by taking a few Qs. Seiya doesn't have that much damage. We start off the laning phase.
It's really awkward though for Optimus in this position, because sure, you want to try and get the early push, get yourself an early level 2, but what you notice from Seiya is that he throws the wave in a way that's forcing Optimus to be constantly overextended just to get a little bit of experience. So he's also going to be denied farm, because every time he comes close, there's the risk of Seiya stunning him up, along with Odi coming in for a very early gank. Look, already level 3 means that that mid laner could very well be one of the early focuses for the side of LyonGaming.
Absolutely. And he is going to be over the wall. What did they decide, actually? Sees the wave coming back a little bit, maybe. Goes for the ward to make sure the scuttle is not taken by Levi as he looks towards bottom.
Slay has been taking a fair amount of chunk damage, but I think this is a difficult game for Roddy.
Yep.
Seems a little bit indecisive as to where he wants to go, what he wants to do with his early game. Surprised that he didn't look to try and get himself the Scuttle Crab, as you see more trading in bot.
Pretty safe by Archie and Slay. Genthix is like, just attack me, come on. And they're not buying it fully with their HP. Adi says, here's a bit of safety for bot lane. And they don't get a ward just over the wall. We will have a little jungler friendliness here, though. Oh, big miss by Levi there. Makes Adi in a good position. Gives himself the long-range attacks for a little extra damage.
Jungle combat, always exciting to see as they tap each other on the shoulder.
That could have been a lot different if that Q hit.
Certainly could have been. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, this is the sort of pressure that you'd expect from Syndra early on. You're forced to go into the Corrupting Potion. What I like is the teleport choice as well from Optimus. So even after he takes all this harassment, he can do a very early back, pick himself up, either one Doran's Ring or maybe even go for the Fellowship build. And then it gives him a little bit more early laning power.
Also like barrier choice from Seiya here. As you come to the point where Optimus is going to just chum the waters on top of you, he can stand still barrier and basically 1v1 the fight, which is not what you do against Fizz all the time. This looks like Levi rather, has been keeping an eye on Adi, just pushed him out for second scuttle. And now they both have one to their name here, as top side's going to get a little bit of jungler intervention. Stark is pushed up.
Levi looking for an early gank mid. This could be difficult. I think he's just here to help push the wave in so that Optimus can look to get himself the back. As we were talking about, he has the TP available. He's had enough of the harassment, so he's asked for his daddy jungler to just come in and be like, hey, can you help me? Can you help me out, buddy?
You can see with the damage how slow he's pushing just by the amount of waves Seiya has to clear now. He's just slowly clearing. They keep piling up. Seiya feels great to be up CS and pushing Optimus out of lane. See what the backs are here. Dark Seal is expected with the ability power and a little bit of vision. Low mana on the bot side, but that does not stop them from getting the pokes in.
So another fairly passive early game, very much just trying to ascertain lane control. And the mid and bottom early on has definitely gone in favor in the side of LyonGaming. But in the top, Stark has been exerting his dominance, demonstrating the weakness of grass types versus fire, building himself up a bit of a CS advantage.
Super effective. Great job as well by Slay. Kind of the same situation for GIGABYTEmarines down here that we saw for Seiya in mid. They keep this wave at their 75% mark, and they've kind of been able to farm it up. Putting a lot of poke on White Lotus and Genthix. Sustain really needing to come through. Levi now, a little bit of jungler roam. I don't know if he'll do too much on this one. Very patient, doesn't need to take the resonating strike.
All right, Optimus, he's level 6 now. Now, bear in mind, in his region, he's known as OP-timus because of how strong as an individual he is, his great synergy with Levi as well, and how he does love to play these assassins. He is very much a playmaking individual, and in his region, he's played a lot of things like Zed, Talon, Jace. While he did play a Zillion yesterday, that was kind of a far cry away from his usual champion pool. So the fact that we do get the Fizz out of him, I feel like I have high expectations for the kind of plays that he can make.
Buddy system down towards the bot, a third roam as well. Looks like Mountain Drake in the eyes of GIGABYTEmarines if nothing else comes from this invade.
Ooh, I feel like Lyon are aware.
I feel like this is the old level 1 we used to see. Somebody's coming to lane, you're going to be able to route him right before the turret.
Sayer's aware, though, he's like, they're missing. Something's going on. White Lotus.
They don't have full crowd control, though, so White Lotus still makes it the turret either way. So they're going to allow him to get there. And I like this by Slay. A slower push on the lane. It doesn't seem like he's trying to get anything out of it. And here comes the team. Are they going 5? It's a 5-man party in the bot lane, and they're even going to get that onto Stark as well. Now they have the fight for Drake. They bring the whole team down. Adi getting dropped down as well as Lyon thinks they can snap Judgment turn on the engage. And GIGABYTEmarines leaves nothing to chance.
Oh my word, GIGABYTEmarines. They know that White Lotus is the core of this composition.
Wow.
So they shut him down. 5-man movement in the bottom half of the map. The TP was ready. He'd set up the push in top half of the map. And then the fact that Optimus immediately turns around onto Adi and says, oh, you want to go? I'll go, I'll go. The immediate, with the Rumble ultimate combined with the Fizz ultimate, like, there was just too much damage. He didn't know what to do with himself.
And they didn't get Drake. They walked out without
Who
Drake.
needs Drake? They just got to tower him.
That's true. No, I mean, GIGABYTEmarines after that, take bot, cap Drake, then go back. You're gonna lose a bit anyways towards that top side, but it's all right. They get the turret, they get the kill, they're still on the move, and now some forward wards you can see being pressured in are all lined up with the defensive wards of Lyon. They have yet to really start pushing their wards on the side of GIGABYTEmarines. So this snowball could continue.
The thing that surprised me about that whole play was the fact that GIGABYTEmarines were gone for a while. Like, they were gone for a really long time, and Lyon spent a long time trying to figure out what was going on. And then finally, as the play was happening, they were like, oh no, our bot lane is in a lot of trouble. So I was surprised that Lyon was so slow to react.
So it's like a rule of thumb I throw on things. It's like 10 to 15 seconds that you're waiting. Probably a bad idea to continue with that.
But the GIGABYTEmarines, they committed.
Hey, sometimes you have to. So again, a BF sword to the AD carry who is on Caitlyn. This time it's White Lotus. Get a little bit of damage in lane, but that's up against the 1-0-1 almost completed Blade of the Rune King and an already swapping team. Forced swap here by GIGABYTEmarines, put Stark in the bottom lane. And we see White Lotus and Genthix now towards the top two, back to duo against Slay and Archie.
Now that Slay has gotten himself a few items under his belt, he has the level advantage. They're feeling a lot more confident in being able to push this top wave, especially with an Ashe Karma. Which means that they can now be the ones to start chipping down on that tier 1 in the top lane. And you can also set up that same play in the top half of the map once the cooldowns come back up, right? Like, Fizz is starting to work towards some of his core items. Looks like Stark maybe even going for an early Rylai's with his itemization, or perhaps an early Void Staff to try and mitigate some of the magic resistance that is coming out from the side of Giral. Regardless, Levi is going to pick himself up the first Drake of the game.
I like that. The first Rylai's would be incredibly interesting because the team actually doesn't focus on any hard crowd control except for that arrow, right? So you're just stacking the slows, continuously locking a team up for the catch potential. Oh, cross map. They didn't see what was in the jungle. And again, not being afraid of the dark costs Adi his life.
I don't even know if Adi was the target, but he made it work.
No, that was a pie to the face.
They were definitely...
Somebody ducked.
Yeah. GIGABYTEmarines, they were looking for an opportunity. That was such a beautiful setup. I love this play from the GIGABYTEmarines. A lot of the questions around this team was that they don't look that convincing, right? They don't look like a super massive. We're not seeing this kind of proactivity. A lot of their wins, well, all of their wins were just off the back of one core decision.
Right.
But now we see the GIGABYTEmarines having a beautiful early game, picking themselves up a draft that is very much their style. And this is the sort of play that we expected from them coming in, because this is the regional dominance that they had. These were the kind of just straight up leads that they were able to build. And remember that if they win this game, they lock themselves in. They move on to the next round.
They're making a very good case for it at this point. Everybody on the Rift has participated in kills, and it's 100% for Stark and Slay. Feels pretty good for those guys. So everybody's following the plays and that confidence as well. It's just going to keep compounding as the dominoes fall against LyonGaming. Slay, oh, he gets hit by the edge of the bubble. The teleport though from Stark and Giral to come in. And look how fast they turn. there's the respect to the confidence that GIGABYTEmarines is bringing to the fight. Flashes and defense is where their spells are going. In goes Optimus out for the Playful and the Trickster as they're waiting for a kill. Seiya finding a target. Scatter hits Stark, but it's not far enough. Daisy goes down just before the pop-up, and Optimus and the rest of the team are making it out of these plays by the skin of their teeth to re-enter, and now they're going for the turret.
Remember that the ultimate's up the start.
What an equalizer right into the frying pan. A double kill coming in for Optimus as the team rolls out. Seiya's next in their eyes. The Sonic Wave misses, so no resonating follow-up. He's going straight in, plops back down. He starts chopping him up, and he says, hey, you may be in my class, but we're different fish, baby. Optimus with a quadra kill.
Optimus 5-0-1, 12.5 minutes into the game. Now we know why he's called Optimus. This guy going off. What a beautiful setup from the team. They had the Rumble ultimate. All of Lyon were grouping up to try and defend the tower, but they didn't have the mana. The Maokai had already gone back to base. And it's just easy cleanup. I love the fact that Optimus, he doesn't stop here. He just goes ham. He knows he's ready. Or he goes tuna, rather. Like, he doesn't stop. He picks himself up a quadra. He's making a name for himself on the international stage. Woo!
Everybody catching their breath after that one. Always amazing to see great plays, and it's always better as well when I think he took his team off guard. They were like, all right, we're back in. He says there is no such back.
All right, guys, let's get the tower. Let's get the tower. And he was just like, I see a rival fish on the board. There can be only one.
This is my reef. All right, so Optimus is now gigantic. We also wondered the Syndra and Fizz matchup. Obviously countered with that Playful Trickster once you see 6. He was able to get that good W push in the early part of the lane to kind of stave off being farmed under the turret. And things have just seemed to open up as GIGABYTEmarines open up the map.
And now the question is, how well can they maintain this control, right?
Yep.
Because LyonGaming, they still have great scaling underneath their belt. They have that ability to build towards this big 5v5 composition where they really are impossible to kill, especially if White Lotus gets to that 3 or 4 item point. But that is a long way away. The fact that they're already at a 6,000 gold deficit at only 14 minutes into the game means that GIGABYTEmarines are going to have to make some serious mistakes for the Lions to reclaim control over their pride.
It's kind of one of those situations where you say, like, they're a fight and a half to 2 fights ahead, right? You can make a mistake in that many fights and still be okay to take one on your own terms. And it really is easier to place wards, easier to take a bubble, know you're going to be safe. Arrow goes down, so maybe makes White Lotus feel a little bit better in this composition now. But Optimus is just looking to 1v1 somebody. This is exactly what you need to see from the Aries, the Syndras.
Not this time, Optimus. We'll get spotted out by the brush.
Yep. But he's not giving up. He has kept that fuse lit.
But look at the 1-3-1 now coming out from GIGABYTEmarines, right? We talked about how if Optimus gets ahead, then no one can match him in the side lane. You can't send Seiya off, you can't send Troll, you have to have at least 2 people to deal with him. And like, he's just gonna have the freedom to do whatever he wants right now. Like, it is impossible for this Syndra to be able to outduel him, especially with the itemization that he's currently going towards. Like, very early Mercury treads, just to get a bit of magic resistance as well. Like, things are rough for the superstar mid laner of LyonGaming.
And as we said before, this is what we expect from GIGABYTEmarines, especially against the other 2-1, not other, but the 2-1 team in the group. If they don't hesitate against the other top team, then they should be able to make it out clear. Optimus, however, could be in a bad situation. Oh, over to Gromp! He executes himself. The kill goes over to Adi. Actually helps that that is the first kill too, but it is a 5-kill shutdown to the team as that gold is shared, so very helpful.
The friends of the jungle help the friend of the jungle get themselves their first kill of the game rather. And I mean, it's definitely the target that you want to be shutting down. If you can punish Optimus for overextending and not allowing GIGABYTEmarines to be able to capitalize on sending so many members to the top half of the map, that's one avenue with which Lyon can find their way back into the game. You know, we said, sure, Optimus, no one can 1v1 him, but there's no one that said that you can't 2 or 3v1 him, right? So,
and it's a good choice too, because you have 2 teleports, so you always try to bring the fight to the teleport guy if you have the chance. So that's really good for them to be able to get it. 0-0 and 6 Levi. We said that Lee Sin would really help him catapult this game, and he has been in just about every pie the team has made, getting his hands dirty. If you can say it that way. I think he likes pie. It's coming up on 20 minutes here in the game. A 6K gold lead. And that takes a little bit off, right? If it was 1.5 fights, it's like 1.25 fights now.
I mean, that's still an optimistic way of looking at it, right? Like, they get 1 kill onto Optimus, but he's still a full, well, he's on his way to being a full item ahead of his lane counterpart. But at this point, like, when you have such a leader, at this point in the game, it's very difficult to close things out. Because trying to siege onto these tier 2s is just so much harder because you really have to commit. And you're still so squishy, you don't even have your second item done. Like, it's a really big gamble. But the gold lead is solid. GIGABYTEmarines are in a fine position.
They're slowly doing it, but one of these ends is a root caller and a scatter the weak, if they can find it. But right behind any of those is the entire team of GIGABYTEmarines. White Lotus too far in the front. Genthix can't help him. His 2 drop immediately. And Lyon just wanted to see what was in the jungle for a second. Levi able to take a bit of damage from this fight. His shield comes in. The safety from the Hex Drinker keeps him alive. And Seiya, even with the power of the mid lane, cannot drop anybody from a team of GIGABYTEmarines.
Oh, LyonGaming.
Oh boy.
They're going to try and hold the best they can, but that's going to be another tower going in the favor of the GIGABYTEmarines. Unfortunately for Lyon, they wanted to try and make something happen. They wanted to try and find a pick. They were able to get it onto Optimus, and they thought, hey, ooh, we can get Archie here. But they don't realize that they're forcing themselves into a choke point, primed and ready for the rest of GIGABYTEmarines to very swiftly collapse. Optimus, he didn't even have to use his teleport. I mean, I like the flash Q from the UI, but this is the play that I really like here. So he's able to get the kick, and then he provides his own escape route. Ready for Optimus to help him. Tag team in.
Just turning down the gas even more. And that was, oh, the play was up. I was about to say for Lyon. They're getting a few wards out. That can be the bubble. That can be a long-range scatter of the week from Seiya. But GIGABYTEmarines is not moving without power in numbers. They are hip and hip at least 1 and 2. And the follow-up to Archie getting caught was an equalizer in your face.
Yeah.
The hesitation's only going to become greater for Lyon, and it's not what they need. We'll see if they can persevere through all of this damage that they have to face each fight.
A part of me feels that GIGABYTEmarines might just rush Baron. Like, it's going to be
a lot of
35 seconds.
Been uncontested, man. It's crazy.
So look, they have Optimus down the bottom lane. He has the TP up. They have full vision control around the top half of the map. So they could just look to play around the tier 2 in the top side. They can then either take that and transition it into a Baron, or they could just rush the Baron down immediately, right? Because if you move away from Optimus, he's going to start chunking down this tower down in the bottom lane. And so that's going to prevent Jarl from really joining the fight. You can't dive the Maokai just yet.
Yeah.
Optimus doesn't quite have the gear for that. The GIGABYTEmarines, they just maintaining control. And that's the most important thing when you have a lead. You can't afford to just leave gaps in vision.
Yep. Okay, it looks like a light bright on the top side there. What does it spell? But this is also what it looks like and how hard it is to come back when it's not one person. It's not one person that's fed. Yeah.
Seiya just uses barrier.
I heard that. I was like, that was the barrier?
Oh no.
But it's, you try to fight one person and Levi can stay alive, right? Because he actually has tanky items from being 0-0 and 7 and a bit of damage. You can't just go on one person. And even if they lose the Optimus, they still have one hell of a fight. Now almost an uncontested Baron. The correct choice to turn is Daisy comes out. Almost. The Redemption heals him up. Who's going to get that transfer of the buffs? They are going over to Stark as Optimus keeps the team at bay. Bottom lane being pushed by Gerald. They know they need to give this one up. They were just doing what they could to stall it out.
GIGABYTEmarines don't want to run the gamble. Why give the opportunity for Lyon to steal it away? We only need to kill out the jungler, and then this Baron is ours, and that was the exact target they're able to get their hands on. So GIGABYTEmarines getting themselves a 21-minute Baron. Now you will see the true terror of a 1-3-1 Fizz with 2.5 items and a Baron buff.
And the thing is this is an incredibly relentless 1-3-1, right? That minion wave is based off how fast it's going to come back. Every outer turret is up, so even if you miss a wave, it's not going past mid.
Yeah.
That makes it so tough to breathe for LyonGaming here.
Yep. And this is a shock. This is not the Lyon game I was expecting, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, props to the GIGABYTEmarines, the way in which they set up that bot play, immediately just focusing down the strongest point, because remember the Lyon, they like these extended laning phases, and a lot of the other teams have been giving it to them, but I feel like that in terms of day 1 performance to day 2, GIGABYTEmarines have shown the biggest growth out of any of the teams here at the play-ins, but this is only one game. We'll have to see if they can maintain it throughout the rest of the day. But this is the game that matters, right? If they win this, they move on to the next round. They will be joining Supermassive because there will be no one left to contest them.
Yep. Everything just keeps piling up. The situation where Seiya needs to build the Sork boots instead of, I'm sorry, the Merc treads instead of the Sork boots. Diminishing some of his power. Nice equalizer to split up Adi from the team. They're going to be there to take down Daisy nice and easy. As Optimus, they're playing the nuisance game. They're just pulling the eyes of the LyonGaming team so they can't focus on one person. And GIGABYTEmarines is able to do the damage they need each time they're in there.
That is 4 ultimates gone for the GIGABYTEmarines, though.
Yep.
LyonGaming, if they're able to dive in.
Oh, Jiro onto Slay. They say we get the 80 carry, we can save the day. Stark as well with the Flame Spitter in. Almost overheated, so he pulls off for a second. Oh, Levi all the way in, but he has the exit to the right. Only looks a bit crazy because that's how GIGABYTEmarines is playing. The root caller, who takes it? You're gonna go to your auto attack range so the backline keeps their distance. That's enough to take down Optimus. Blast for him as well. Levi goes into the fight, able to drop one for himself. Adi's gonna go down, as like we said, even if Optimus drops in a scary situation, the rest of the team, the cavalry's there to back him up.
GIGABYTEmarines, they have 4 members left standing. They have the Baron empowered minions, and they are looking to get the fastest game of the MSI play-in.
14-2, they have not dropped a turret on the map. And they do have 4 members standing as they look to go 4-0 in Group B of the play-ins.
That was a clean game.
Very nicely executed from the get-go.